up, Chipper Chaps? This is episode 12 of Chipper Chap Chat with me, Chamba, and...
Fooray!
Yeah! Alright, sorry folks for being away for the past 3 weeks, has it been?
Has it really?
I think it might have been.
Really?
I think the last episode was early this month. And... Wait, alright, the last episode was posted 6th of May. So that's been 3 weeks, has it not?
Yeah, I guess it
Oh
has.
crap, it has been. Yeah, sorry about that. I was away. I was on a holiday to Japan. For the
Japan.
Japan. You know the airplane in Street Fighter.
Right.
Japan. And yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I did that thing,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was a great trip.
Got lots of little keychains.
I got a bunch of keychains and they're awesome. I bought a ton of art books, and I'm glad I limited myself because I'd be in trouble. I would be in trouble if it weren't for that case. Lots of sweet statues, but I'm not into that, thankfully. But yeah, it was great.
That definitely helps limit the amount of money spent.
Absolutely, I promise you. But the food, Royce, the food.
Yeah, I believe it, man.
The food, I can't wait to go back. It's not going to be very soon, but I will be back eventually, I think. I can't I can't let this be the only time going. That would be a shame and a waste.
You can't not go again.
Oh, absolutely not. We were like, oh man, this needs to be annual. And everyone else agreed. They were like, yeah, this could be annual. I'm like, yes.
It's pretty hardcore.
It's not that expensive either. Yeah, I think it's doable. Just save, knowing, if you know you're going to do it, it's easier to save for it, I think.
Right.
And I'm basing the cost on this one. So if I spend roughly the same amount and do, similar-ish things, then... And buy, don't go too crazy on purchases. I should be okay.
Right.
I should be okay.
Well, it makes sense. You didn't buy a whole bunch of stuff while you were there, but you did go out and eat a lot.
I haven't eaten this much in a long time. We were literally eating 4 meals a day, and it was so good,
Right.
So good. Lots of walking around though.
Yeah.
Train rides were intense.
Were they?
Oh,
yeah, that sardine thing, right?
yeah, that was only once, fortunately, and I don't know how people there do it on a daily basis, twice a day.
You got to, man. You gotta get to
fuck
work.
That. Nah, no thanks. Not for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, on to the episode, I guess. We've missed out 3 weeks of stuff. I don't think we'll cover, I'm sure we'll miss a lot of things.
Yeah, there will be a lot of stuff that we'll just have not talked about, but
yeah, but that's normal.
That's the way it goes.
That is the way it goes. There are some things we're just not as interested in as, as others would probably cover. But so
right.
It's whatever.
But that's just the way it is.
Things will never be the same. Yep, it's all good. And we get sued for that. No.
Right. So, what is on the agenda?
First thing on the list is the rumor mill of Chris Pine being the love interest in the upcoming Wonder Woman movies.
Yeah, which, is interesting to me because I thought that there was already a rumor going about the dude in Suicide Squad being...
That's what I thought too.
Right.
If that fella in Suicide Squad is Steve Trevor, which is, in comic books, the love interest of Wonder Woman, who is Chris Pine going to play? Unless, of course, those rumors were
right. That could have been
fake.
just,
he could just be another Suicide Squad member.
Right.
So, yeah, what's that?
And we still don't know who Common is.
Oh, and also, I'm thinking up something else, because Chris Pine was also in the rumor mill to be the upcoming Green Lantern.
Right, for Hal.
How about if Hal is Wonder Woman's love interest?
It could be interesting. I really have a feeling they're going to do Jon Stewart this time around.
You think they'll do Jon Stewart?
I kind of feel like they will, just because it's the easiest way to differentiate from the
Yes,
Ryan
that's true.
Reynolds.
That's very true. Very true.
Because that one was made in the era or like so recently. I feel like they have to do something to make it drastically different. And if you make it Hal again,
Yeah.
will be sort of confusing, I think.
So, do you think Common, the rumor of Common being Jon Stewart, do you think
I don't know.
that's it?
I don't know. I think that would be fine, maybe, but I don't know if that's what's happening. He was already gonna be Green Lantern once before, and I just don't. I think maybe they'd want to not have that stigma attached. But at the same time, George Miller is really popular right now because he's not.
And I like you hear more rumors that Warner Brothers is kind of courting him.
Right. Well, he was the one that was gonna do the Justice League
Absolutely,
movie
yes, a
with
couple of years ago.
Common.
Yes, that's right, that's right.
Yeah,
So
that was his Green Lantern was Common.
yeah, so what's that's interesting stuff.
Yeah, so maybe that something's happening there again,
But
or
in terms of Chris Pine being the love interest, how do you see that?
I'm fine with it. I think it's an interesting role reversal
That's true.
because you would typically expect Chris Pine to be the hero,
Hopefully,
and
if he is that, he's not going to be very, Captain Kirk.
right. I think it's cool though that if someone of his name, um, value in Hollywood
Yeah,
would play just the love interest because
yeah.
you just don't see that very often because
No,
we've
no,
not
no.
really gotten any girl superhero
That's
movies.
right. That's right. That's right.
So we've not really had like a strong female lead and then like a that's a relatively unknown actress and then like a power, secondary. It's like Thor getting Natalie Portman.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, but like this is obviously more of a reversal where the lead is the
Right,
female.
exactly. It's like the opposite of that.
Yep, yep.
Because
That's
Hemsworth, nobody knew who he was before
yeah.
Thor.
And now he's kind of like he's a star.
Right. Sort of, but it doesn't seem like he's selling movie tickets outside of.
No, he's not. But like he's in terms of like in Hollywood, he's getting more
Right. He's got
opportunities.
his name out there,
Yeah,
but
and
like,
I think like that might have been his goal though.
did you see him in the Vacation trailer?
Yeah, he was hilarious there.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, he was hilarious in the trailer.
Yeah. What else is on the list, though?
The Guardians of the Galaxy animated. They're gonna do a
Right.
series. The trailer is out.
And we watched that
Yes.
earlier. So, what are your thoughts?
The style, the drawing
Yeah.
style looks freaking cool, but the animation doesn't really look, it does look flashy as you were saying before, like flash
Right.
animation.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like as you were saying before, like you were kind of expecting the style to be super fluid, like super like
Right.
animated just like, oh, that is beautiful.
Right. Just based on what it looks like.
Absolutely,
When you're
based on
watching
the style, yes. But
it.
it
And
wasn't.
like, especially like how Rocket moves in some of the scenes.
Like the silhouette of him running,
Right.
there were literally 2 frames there.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, that they just switch back and forth. And you're like, that's weird.
That's why I'm wondering if it's just like a style placement or something. It's not necessarily what the show's gonna look like. If it is, like, that's incredibly cheap looking.
It is.
Like the aesthetic of it, I think looks good. It's just the animation looks very
Also,
cheap.
for a Disney XD show.
Right, compared to the other Marvel ones, it looks very noticeably different.
Compared to, like, because I know, like, I'm not sure if you watched it, it was that Tron show.
Right, I've seen it, but I didn't watch it.
That animation was beautiful.
Right,
That was a Disney XD show.
right, but it's probably not the same team doing
Probably
that.
not. And I'm like thinking, why didn't you get the same team? Because that was like that's a very sharp, clean style.
Right, but
But it was also
that one's 3D though, isn't it?
I don't even know. I think it might have been actually.
I feel like it definitely
Might
is.
have been. But anyway, yeah, it looks like it. Does it follow the story of the movie?
No. But it's based on the movie versions of them.
That's weird then.
but like it's not connected,
at
but
all.
it's supposed to be right.
So it's
But
its
it's
own
supposed to be those
adventure,
versions, right?
but it's not attached to the film. It's not like a sequel to the film.
Right.
Interesting, interesting,
It's
interesting.
just, the movie was popular enough to where they wanted to do a version that looked like them,
Yes, yes. Okay,
but
that's
but they're able to do their own stories that don't have to be in continuity.
okay. Well, I mean, it could be fun. When is the actual release for this? Is there any actual information on that?
I have no clue
Hmm.
actually when that was supposed to come out. Um,
Would you watch it based on what you saw in the trailer?
I would want to see what a whole episode would look like
I would give it
because,
the
like,
yeah.
for example, Star Lord, uh, he's the one in particular that looks strange to me the way he was animated. The way that he talks and stuff, like his actual body doesn't move at all in those shots.
That's true.
Like
And his mouth
his
was moving weird. Like his
right,
mouth felt really
it's
animated.
janky.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I'm looking at it again. I was looking at it, and
Hmm.
it's like the keyframes were there, but it was
Right.
missing the in-betweens,
Hmm.
if that makes any sense.
Right. It's like they jumped to each expression rather than
Absolutely.
animating.
And I was just like, whoa, are my eyes missing frames? Am I missing frames altogether? Or is it animated this way? The colors and
Right.
stuff look great though.
Yeah. The colors looked really good. Um, I really like some of the backgrounds in it.
Hmm.
I just feel like wasn't the style of animation I was expecting.
Yeah.
But it does look really cool. It looks like they're trying to make it look like a motion comic almost.
Yes, yes. And I don't know if that's good or not.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad or or what, but it definitely, I think that's what it reminds me of most is it looks like a motion comic. It looks like really, really refined animated storyboards.
Hmm.
Like, and their use of 3D for like Rocket's guns and stuff is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll wait. I'll wait
Like, and
until
I
I
feel
see
like they
more.
can't have a bunch of shots of like of Rocket jumping around in silhouette and stuff like that. That's what makes me feel like this isn't
Yeah,
legit.
I was like this, but like it's weird. Usually, like in these on those like trailers and stuff, the hype trailer type stuff, they would look flashy. Like it's supposedly the thing that would sell it. This is not
Right.
selling it for me though.
No, like if you freeze frame any of the shots, the artwork is great.
Yeah, it looks like whoa, this is gonna be dope. But then you see it like, what happened? Like,
But then like the talking animation feels like Archer or something.
yeah, it just didn't. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll wait until we see more from
And
it. I think.
they didn't really, you can't really hear anybody talk except for Star Lord.
Yeah, and what do you think of the voice? Oh, you heard both Star-Lord and Rocket.
Do you hear Rocket?
I think you do. I'm pretty sure you do.
I feel
Yeah, he
maybe
does.
you
Like
do.
when he's firing the. It
Oh, and
looks
you
like
do
he's in
hear
a
Groot.
rocket.
Never
Yeah,
mind.
you
You
hear
do hear
Groot
Groot.
also. Yeah, yeah,
And Groot sounds fine.
yeah. They're fine. Whatever, whatever. I mean,
Um,
Groot. You don't. He says like I'm Groot. That's it. So
all right. Right. Um, but whatever. It'll be a thing.
it
It'll
will be.
probably. If I really liked, um, what Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yes, that's the Avengers, right?
Right. I wasn't like super way into the art style of it, but I liked the show quite a bit.
Okay. Yep.
And then I feel like Avengers Assemble was kind of the opposite. Like I really liked the style of it, but the show was kind of not as
Yeah, it
cool.
was weird, right? It's like
Right.
they either like combined the best of both, and it would have been like fucking
Right.
great.
So I didn't end up really watching it because of that. And I imagine that, if this one is good, then I'll watch it like I did Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And if it's not, then it'll just be like the other one.
Right.
Um, I think probably the one that I ended up watching the most of was, well, I mean, I think I watched all of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, but I still watched a bit of Spider-Man occasionally. Whenever they have like some special episode now, I'll check it out. But I
Did you
stopped
like
watching
it?
it
Did you
as
like
well.
Spider-Man?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Let's put it this way: if it's another situation, kind of like the Avengers Assemble, because if Spectacular Spider-Man, the one that Cheeks did stuff for,
Yes.
I loved Cheeks' designs for it and stuff, but
Yes.
I don't know how well the animators captured Cheeks' artwork. So
Yeah.
to me, it didn't look that great.
Yeah.
So to me, if the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon's storylines and character writing and everything was the same, but it looked like
Cheeks?
Ultimate Spider-Man, no, the Cheeks one. If the
Oh,
Cheeks
yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
looked like this newer
Oh,
one,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would like it better.
Yeah, yeah. You don't like the new one, though? Ultimate?
I think it's fine. It's just I don't like all the like weird morphing things where like he's really where he turns into stuff
Well,
in
like
his conversations.
a giant hot dog or a burger would just
Right, a
appear
giant
at.
piece of toast, or
Yeah.
his little chibi versions of him. And, they're fine, but I'm not a big
I
fan
get
of that.
why they do it.
Right, it's not a thing that I would associate with Spider-Man. If they did it with like Squirrel Girl or something like that, then whatever. But
That could be something that they would do with Squirrel Girl.
right, exactly. I think for Spider-Man, it's not what my thing is. I like him internal monologuing, but I don't think that he needs like Lizzie McGuire little cartoon versions of himself.
That's actually brilliant.
Uh,
Oh, she's gonna be a superhero soon.
right, that's the Disney side.
Oh, snap. That's true. That's true. It's all there.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, it looked fine. I'll wait for another trailer or something to come out. Like, it's not
Right.
getting me super excited. I'd rather get. I'm more looking forward to the sequel film, if anything,
The sequel film?
of Guardians.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely more excited for that as
Yeah.
well. Add that to the list of things we can talk about later as well. The McConaughey rumor.
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about
Uh,
that. But yeah, the next things,
hmm
the shows, the TV show, the superhero TV shows have finished.
Right.
In
While you
terms
were
of yeah,
gone,
while I was gone, that's correct. That's correct. Arrow, Flash, and Shield.
all had their finales.
Mm.
Um, so which one do you want to talk about first? Which one do you want to get?
Let's go in alphabetical order. Let's go with Arrow first.
Okay, so what did you think about the Arrow finale?
I don't know, man. Like
No?
it was like,
Spoiler alert,
yeah. By the
yeah.
way, yeah. If you haven't seen it, you're really late
Right,
because it's about 2 weeks old at this point,
right.
at least. Yeah, at least 2 weeks old. Um, yeah, the Arrow finale, everything was all like happy. Oh, I'm gonna be happy now. I'm gonna choose to be happy or whatever.
All right.
That was wrong. That was,
He's choosing to try and be Oliver Queen, right, and see what that means.
yeah, I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna
Who
smile for
is
it.
Oliver Queen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, it's cool that he's going, like, he's smiling again. he's
Right.
not, he's not very Batman-ish at this point, which is really what I'm after. Give me Green Arrow and don't give me just a secondary Batman.
I wonder if it's like we needed an excuse for him to be sort of absent at the beginning of the season so he can be Casey Jones. let's have let's have him go off the coast.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that ending was just kind of like, alright.
Yeah,
It was alright. It was whatever. Yeah, I don't.
him
like,
being like, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. He still says it in that, like, really
The Arrow voice.
Arrow. My name is Oliver Queen. No, I'm happy now. Oh, yeah, I don't know. That was an ending that happened. Like, we'll see
else
what
happened
happens
in
from
that
there.
episode? Is that the episode that's the big fight on the island, or no?
Which one?
No, that was the episode before, right?
Yeah.
When they fought on the
That's what I'm
island.
saying. Nothing really happened.
What else happened in that episode?
Um,
That's when we got to see Speedy, right?
yeah, we got to see the new Ra's al Ghul, you know.
Right. It's
Malcolm Merlin.
Malcolm Merlin now.
Yep. So he's Ra's al Ghul now. That was his plan all along.
What do you think about that?
Whatever.
Do you
It's
think
just,
Malcolm is imposing enough to make him the main baddie
he's
again?
too flamboyant. Oh, like what's funny about the whole actor and character of Ra's al Ghul in the show was that at the start he didn't seem very Ra's, but as the series kept going, he felt more and more like Ra's. I thought.
But I think he's still a good character either way.
But can you see him as the new Ra's?
I don't. No, not really.
That was the thing.
I thought they were gonna make Nyssa the new Ra's.
That would see. I think I would have been more okay with that.
What do you think about Nyssa versus Talia?
I'm glad they didn't do Talia, because then it's like just a full-on Batman at this point.
Kind of already is, though, right?
It is, but it's just, I don't know, dude. Again, with Arrow, I enjoy it. I still watch it.
I feel like at this point, with the whole season over and done with, Arrow is my least favorite of the three superhero shows.
Absolutely, and
which sucks because it used to be the benchmark.
I know.
I used to go, they got to make it at least as good as Arrow because Arrow's the tied to shit out right now.
That's
and now
exactly
I feel like
it.
it's the weakest link.
Exactly, and I don't even want to say this, but I'm going to. It's actually very, very low compared to the others.
Right.
Like Flash and Shield, I'd say Flash is really killing it.
Yeah, Flash is definitely the best one.
It's
and
like
Shield, I think, is relatively close behind it.
Relatively.
But Shield has a more uphill battle than Flash does because
it does.
The coolest thing about the Flash TV show, in my opinion, is that they're letting the character be who the character is in the comics.
I think that's it.
So like he does what he does in the comics. He acts pretty much like he does in the comics. I think he'll get a bit more wisecracking and all that stuff once it's a little bit more low key story wise. Like they're doing some heavy shit right now.
Because he can do that as well. Like the cast can do that.
Right, but like him showing up on like Arrow, he's always very, very noticeably different. Like him trying to eat Chinese food and stuff. I wish they would bring more of that back.
Well, like when he saved the bloody Arrow guys from the bloody from the cave.
Right.
He's the one that saved them.
Uh-huh.
Spoilers again. Who cares? They already know it's spoilers.
Right.
But yeah, like when he saved them, I was like, all right, that's cool that he's here. But like his character is so different compared to everyone there.
I like the difference.
I love it, but I was like,
I think Arrow needs a character like that because then it shows that it's not just like, oh man, Arrow has always got to be somber because it's Arrow. I feel like it doesn't have to be that. It's that's his origins, you know.
Yeah,
they've got to get to the point where Oliver is Oliver from the comics.
That's exactly, and I think that's what I think they might. Hopefully, they'll lead to that. Like, get out of Batman.
He's got the goatee and shit.
Get out of Batman. Become Oliver Queen.
Well, the speculation is that's what is going to happen this season, where he's figuring out who Oliver Queen is.
Good,
and then he'll start introducing that into his persona.
Good, because he needs to, like, again, he's not Batman. Oliver Queen smiles and shit. He is very Batman-ish, but he's not in personality-wise.
Remember how exciting this show was when they first started, and you're like, oh snap, they figured out a way to work in the boxing glove.
Yeah.
Like, I want more of that. Show me more stuff of who Green Arrow is, not who Batman is.
That's exactly it. I don't need a Batman backstory. We're not watching Gotham here. Ugh, Gotham. Anyways,
yeah, luckily we don't talk about that one.
Yeah. Another one that ended. Flash.
What are your thoughts on Flash?
I like this show, man.
Yeah.
The fact that it's just
are the number one out there right now as far as how they're their new bar.
Non-Netflix shows, yeah, definitely.
Right. Non-Netflix shows, of course, because those fall in a different league. I feel like
those are movies that have been split.
Right, Daredevil's a 13-hour movie.
Yeah, it's an amazing 13-hour movie. But anyways, Flash. Love it.
Flash is good, man. It was a great episode. They resolved everything.
But then
the way
it ended was like great. I guess you can do this like this in this show. You can actually, it's okay. It's not like a cop out.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like a cop out. It's just like, okay, this is something that can occur based on the whole premise entirely.
Right.
Like time travel, they can't say, oh, they ripped that out of nowhere. And I'm like, it was from the very, very first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially.
Yeah, they had been setting it up since the first episode.
So you can't. People can't even go into this and go, oh, wow, that's hard to believe. There was
and that's the comics, dude. So there's nothing
that's why.
to be mad about.
That's exactly it. There was the telepathic gorilla. Come on.
Right.
The show is great. It's fun. I like the characters.
Yeah, I like that they're not shy from doing content like the telepathic gorilla character.
Like, at first people were like, oh, but then it's like, wow, good on him.
Yeah, you know.
Good on him.
At least they, even if it sucked or whatever, at least they tried it.
Absolutely. But it worked.
You know, a lot of shows are going to be too afraid to do that. You know, that's why I think that S.H.I.E.L.D. was a lot more interesting this season as well, because they weren't afraid to do characters like Hyde. Like, that's the most ridiculous and comic book accurate character we've gotten so far.
And he was amazing, but we'll get to that.
All right.
I
think he, I'm surprised that they
did that.
That they did it.
Yeah. Flash though, sick. The way it ended, it's like, what?
Yeah.
You mean you could do this?
Yeah,
you can literally do that. That means
impressed
you can essentially erase. Not really erase. Oh well, yeah, I guess you can.
Yeah.
In a sense, you can retcon shit
instantly.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I feel like it felt to me like some of that stuff will get retconned pretty immediately.
I hope it's not to the point where it's like, oh, great, they're gonna retcon it again. Like,
well, because that's what happened when he saved everyone from the tidal wave. It just changed everything immediately. Like, you went before it happened.
Yep.
So, but I've also heard that again, spoiler alert. I don't want to keep saying it, but
yeah, I don't think we have to say it anymore at this
point.
But
Flash was so good. If you're not watching it, you should be.
Yeah.
But when Eddie kills himself, I have a feeling that that's going to stick.
That's the one that's going to stick, right?
Yeah, because the only thing that makes it confusing to me is if that makes Reverse Flash not exist, does he never then kill
the mom?
Flash's mom.
Yep.
And if that is the case, then what does that mean? Because it seemed like the whole thing was him being like, okay, I'm going to listen to my dad and not do it.
Yep. But then does he be like that means Barry Allen still becomes Flash, but not in the same way.
Right, because if he becomes Flash like he was originally going to, it was going to be when the actual Harrison Wells...
Harrison Wells, exactly.
Makes the particle accelerator like 3 years after that or some shit.
Which is then like fucking crazy, dude. This is awesome.
Or it was like 2022 or
something. So it's going to be later. And I'm like, so what's going to happen now?
Right, so now I feel like they've got to have some new version of the timeline so that it's not that, but it's something else.
It's cool though, man.
I just wonder, like, does that mean that they're gonna have some version of Harrison Wells before he was turned into Reverse Flash?
Maybe.
That is now like an ally, so they can keep that actor on the show.
The actual Harrison Wells, rather than
the real Harrison Wells will still be alive
because he was supposedly a good guy, a good scientist guy.
Right, but he won't be in a wheelchair, so he can just be part of their team, but not that. But then, how different will he be if it's the real him?
But
versus...
also, yeah, that's true. But also, everyone, who will know that the time has changed? Would Barry Allen be the only one that knows? Or will he even know at all?
Cisco would know, right?
Oh, yeah, because they were hinting on that shit as well. Fucking great, man. But would that have happened if Harrison Wells, the fake Harrison Wells, didn't do that whole bomb thing then?
Right. If he didn't make the particle accelerator explode when he did, would Cisco still be there or whatever? Because we don't know.
I don't know. So many questions. But as a show, fucking great still.
But I think at the same time, the particle accelerator affected hella people.
Yep.
So maybe it would have affected Cisco either way. Like maybe it
Yep.
only affects certain people, kind of like the storm in
Yeah. I was
Misfits.
gonna say that. Yeah.
Um,
Still, man, great show. That one's a good one.
yeah, that show is definitely
Flash, man, it's fun. I like the
definitely.
characters. I think that's the thing as well. I like the characters.
I'm glad I do because I remember when we first started watching it, I was not at all a fan of Cisco.
He's grown, right?
Right, and he was just Team Jacob to me. I didn't care about that
He's
dude.
not anymore though, is he?
He's definitely
He's
evolved.
definitely
'Cause
grown as a
I
character.
think the smart thing they did is go just make him Michelangelo for this show.
Yeah, it's like that was perfect. That was a genius move.
Right, combine Michelangelo and Donatello and put him on that show.
Worked perfect. Worked like a charm.
So he names all the villains and all that shit, and
He's also the
I
smart guy.
I just wonder if I wonder how they're gonna deal with his powers and whatnot. Because I just can't, like, they didn't seem like they were going to set him up to suddenly he's a superhero and he breakdances.
I don't know if that's the current iteration of the character though.
Right. Right, because they're trying to make him cooler, because they must have known they were going to use him again.
Yeah.
Somebody had a script out for that Flash pilot. And
Yeah.
they're like, well, we better update what this character
We
is.
should update Vibe. Why? Because he's gonna be in this show. It's like, oh yeah. What about breakdancing? He could still breakdance.
Yeah, dancing's popular. Just, make his powers different.
Yeah. But yeah, great show. Good one. Love it.
He taps into the vibrations of the world or something like that. So he kind of sounds like he has Sky's power. Because they said her shit was described almost that exact same way.
Oh yeah, except she can control it, correct?
Right, but Cisco only just found out about his ability.
That's true.
Maybe he'll get like crazy earthquake powers at some point.
Earthquake. His nickname would be Earthquake.
Well, you can still call him Vibe.
Yeah, he would name himself Vibe.
Alright. Maybe because he can sense alternate versions of reality, he will know when there are alternate versions of people in their reality.
Oh, so he's basically conscious of all realities.
Right. And he'll catch a bad vibe if someone is not who they say they
Oh,
are.
snap. So he's got Spidey sense.
Right. He's got very specific Spidey senses.
Wow, that's cool. I guess whatever, that works. It's cool that I'm okay with the character now, that he's not annoying anymore.
Right. Mainly that's the thing I'm most glad about, because I was not a fan when it started. Not of poor Cisco.
And the last show being S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think this show, or this one's season finale was good,
Yes.
but it also is the one that makes me the most curious for next season, because for Flash I'm excited because that show's good and it's going to be good no matter what.
Yeah.
Well, not no matter what, but it's most likely going to be good. I'm not really worried about the second season.
Yeah.
Whereas S.H.I.E.L.D. going into its third season, they seem like they're changing the formula quite a bit. So I'm very curious to what it's going to be like when it comes back. Because they seem like they're aiming this new... Like, the next season's going to be more about superpower, like a team of superpowered people.
Mm.
And one of the big things that happens is... I'm not going to say it again, but... Be warned.
Spoilers.
But
let's just say it, whatever.
he gets his arm chopped off.
Yeah. You think he's gonna go Winter Soldier and shit?
Not quite Winter Soldier. I think he's gonna go more like Deathlock.
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot there was another cyborg dude. Or it's underneath the skin, but it's gonna look like skin, so he can just be another arm.
Well,
But it's actually a robot.
like, yeah, Deathlock has his arm thing where it looks almost like just like a pad on his arm, but then it opens up and he's got guns and shit in it.
Yeah, I should draw Deathlock.
The show version?
No, original one.
It's like, if you could make the show version look tight, I'd be pretty impressed. But yeah, I think that they'll give him some sort of arm that can do special shit, so that he is comparable to the team that is going to have more superpowered people on it.
Yep.
And I think that even could mean some sort of abilities, maybe for Gemma.
What are your thoughts on what happened in the ep?
I think the Gemma thing was pretty crazy.
The ending?
Yeah, for getting snatched up into the rock.
And
thing.
the black rock goo.
Right. That was pretty bonkers.
Yeah, it's almost like, wow, talk about ending the season.
Right, like if they didn't get a third season, I'd be pissed the way this season ended.
Absolutely, because nothing. The movies won't touch what happened.
Right. So luckily, that's not seeming like it's going to be the case. They seem like it got greenlit for a new one. So.
But like they kind of close the whole Inhumans again. I think we might have talked about this before, but not on an episode where it's like, oh, it goes into the fish, and then it's made into fish oil. We're like, fish oil.
Right. I think they just went one step too far.
Yeah, that was like, that had to be for comedy's sake, right?
If they had just shown
the fish in the market,
the fish, it would have been fine. But
they didn't even show the fish in the market. Just go to the fish, and you go, oh shit, let your mind continue it.
Right.
Rather than be like, oh, it's made into fish sticks. Now it's being fried in the batter.
Right.
It's in a fish and chips place. It's in a fillet of fish. See McDonald's.
Right. Just anything they use fish for.
Absolutely. They went really, like, with the fish. I was like, for real?
Yeah, it seemed pretty silly. But, it's their version of doing the Terrigen bomb, but without doing a whole bomb. Because I think more people would have to be aware of a bomb going off.
That's true. I like it, though.
Yeah, I like that they're going to, that they're brave enough to go down this Inhumans route now.
Absolutely. I think it's big. Like, I mean, it's going to be a while for the actual Inhumans.
Right.
So, there's that. But the fact that they're going to do it eventually, it makes sense that they're actually showing it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But no, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I'm really, really pumped to see what's going to go down with the next season of that, because if they're trying to put a team of superpowered people together, and it's going to be Inhumans based, I'm curious what characters they're going to potentially make into Inhumans that weren't. What characters they're going to be willing to let join that universe already, because it can't be any of the big ones.
Yeah.
But
exactly. You can't.
About, like,
what are the rumors?
Khan.
Oh, that one could work.
Yeah, I've heard rumors about them doing like a spin-off with her, and that's like something that started because of the fish market thing, or the fish oil thing, rather.
Fish oil. The Kamala one could work, though.
Yeah, I think that could be an interesting series. The only thing for me is, what do you call it?
I don't know.
Because it seems bizarre to me to have a Miss Marvel before you have a Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because Kamala Khan is supposed to be like a fangirl of her.
Yeah, and it can't be the opposite. Yeah, it can't be.
Right, because that'd be weird. That she would be a fangirl of this teenage girl. Would be bizarre. But yeah, in general, I could see that working. If they did Runaways as a series, I wouldn't hate it. I would prefer them do it as a series rather than do it as an animated thing, because that's the other rumor, is that it's going to be an animated thing.
I don't know, animated based on the Guardians thing we just saw.
Right. I think they were talking about making an animated movie like Big Hero 6.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't think that's how I imagined it happening. But I could imagine it happening as not obviously not on the CW, but a CW type of show. Especially because it's teenagers.
Yeah.
Dealing with how they feel about each other and shit like that. So, I could definitely imagine that working for a teenage TV show type of market. This, like, we were all the kids of supervillains, and how this works. I could totally imagine that on that kind of platform.
Could work. But whatever Shield's gonna lead to, I think it
I
should be
think it's doing
interesting.
well though. I'm excited to see where it goes. Um, it sucks whatever's happening to Gemma right after she finally like they
I
agreed
know,
to
right? That's why I was
date
like,
or
oh
whatever.
man.
Yeah, it's poor Fitz. He's
I
not gonna
know.
know where she went.
It was like, oh, what the like? Yeah, exactly. Like just the scene right after that. What the
Uh,
hell's gonna happen there?
yeah, yeah, I'm sure he's gonna take it the wrong way. Like she didn't really want to go out on the date with me, and she
Mm,
vanished.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Lots of things, lots of misunderstandings, but then like panic because it's like, oh, it's this giant black rock goo.
right.
What is it? And then people are gonna be like eating the fish oils, and it's like, ah, I'm feeling upset stomachs. Fish
Right, that's the
oil.
worst that
Yeah,
happens.
it's like, what? I got a tentacle arm. What is this? Fish oil, damn you. It's gonna be
Uh,
those moments. But good stuff. It's been a good season of superhero shows, comic book related shows.
it has been, and they added Mac to the team, which I think is good.
Yeah, even
I don't know
though
what's gonna go. I don't know what's gonna go on with Bobby and Hunter though.
they're not gonna, I don't know if they're gonna get their spin off anymore.
No, they're not gonna get it.
Well, they could still be part of this show.
Well, I'm wondering because she was like, "I don't think I can do this anymore" or whatever
Oh
on the
yeah,
episode.
I'm done. I'm done,
Yeah.
Zols. All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You know what I think was gonna happen
What?
was that the spin-off show was just going to be a replacement for Agents of Shield because the new version of the show was going to be much more about be a team of superheroes, and I think the spin-off show was going to be basically like Agents of Shield season 3 but with just Bobby and Hunter, and like Agents of Shield was going to transform into like Secret Avengers or Secret Warriors.
I don't know if I like that.
That's what it sounded like if they were putting a secret team of superpowered characters together.
That's just
That's the
weird.
team. That's the team that the character Quake comes from.
That's true, but it's just when you've got characters like the Avengers in the movies,
Right.
and then you've got a television version of this, same universe, but they're powered as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it's even part of the same thing when it's actually part of the same thing.
They're just gonna do it to where all their missions are in secret.
Oh, great! So even
So
more secretive than like,
it's spies with superpowers, man.
I guess.
I think it could be cool.
It could be cool. If the budget's well, if it's written well, it could be great. I think it's just that's what it comes down to. If
I
it's
mean,
written well,
you saw what they did with Powers this season.
yeah,
So, oh man, that one hurt.
it's no good.
Yeah, but you saw what they've done with Powers this season. So, if you think they've done a good job with that,
I
that's
do.
probably what we're gonna get.
I
But
do.
just way more of them. Like I think the electric power guy, his stuff looked fine.
Yeah, it
Him
looked great.
fighting Deathlock was fine.
Yeah. I
Quake,
mean,
her
and
abilities are interesting. She
Death-
force pushes people.
Deathlock could be part of the show again
I think he might be, man. I think he might be,
because he's cool, man. He's a cool addition.
or at least, at very least, I think he'll be involved from time to time, and they'll use Deathlock technology to explain Coulson's arm.
Maybe, but good stuff. It ended well.
All right, so
Next
let's-
topic. I don't even know if we should talk about this because it was a leak.
Just
but
don't say anything that happens outside of the trailer.
I don't remember. I don't remember the trailer.
Luckily, the trailer showed pretty much everything.
That's true.
in that fucking episode.
Supergirl. Supergirl.
What do you think of the actress playing Supergirl?
I like her. She's cool. She's fun. I think it looks like a good show. I mean, they've definitely changed aspects of what we're familiar with in terms of the character, like Jimmy Olsen.
James,
My bad. James Olsen.
yeah,
He's a tall black dude.
because why not?
Just because you can,
Yeah.
Based on the trailers, the visual effects look solid.
Yeah. I think the flying looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think we understand that it has to be wire work for like her part, but it's believable in a sense how she moves. I think.
Right.
Like it looks like she's good at acting. Like, oh yeah, you know how they fly forward and then like she kind of readjusts herself to stand still in the air.
Right.
That looks good.
Uh-huh.
So that looks good. The visuals are good, and I think it could be fun. I don't know. I just think it could be fun. Again, we can't really talk if we're not going to talk about anything that we don't see in the trailers. Then
Right. I think that she played it better than I was expecting her to play it.
yes,
But
you still don't like it?
I think she plays this version of Supergirl fine, but in my head, Supergirl is very different than this. I feel like my issue with this Supergirl thing, because again, I'm not going to say anything that happens, but I feel like it's too much of just a girl version of Superman.
Yeah. It is definitely just a female Superman.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like her own story at
No,
all. It
yeah,
feels like a girl version of Superman's story.
It's going to be, at this rate, it might be like Arrow is to Batman.
That's what I'm most afraid of.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like Supergirl is an interesting character on her own.
Absolutely.
And what they're electing to do is go, well, we can't make Superman and we can't make Batman TV shows.
Yeah.
So let's do something where we can kind of do that and just make it as close as we can. Yeah. But then we'll go, but it's a Supergirl show, so like she goes on dates. You know,
so it's essentially it's like, let's gender bend Superman,
right.
but make a teenager.
Yep.
Oh, not even teenager, make a youngish, like a young woman, young lady.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she'll have like, regular young lady dramas.
Cute boys. Cute boys. Because I believe James is the love interest.
Yes, most likely.
Which is another thing, like apparently some people are freaking out because of the Toy Man character.
Yep.
Her friend in the trailer.
Yep.
Is
gonna be Toy Man.
He's gonna be Toy Man. I don't know if he's gonna ever be that villain, but he's like Caitlin on Flash. Like you don't know if
they're gonna go all the way. Yes,
Killer Frost, but
yes.
She's got the name of the character who is Killer Frost.
Yes.
So it's like that with him. And even in the trailer, he has the section where they're on the roof, and he's like, oh, this is the reason you don't like me is because you're gay or whatever. And she's like, no, I'm Supergirl. Look, and I'm going to fall off the side of the building. Mm-hmm. And people are mad because of that reaction. Like, the only possible way she could not be into me is because she's gay.
She has to be homosexual.
Right, but the thing to me is he says, oh, this makes sense to me. The only reason you're into me is because you're gay. This is perfect, cuz, and then she interrupts me. I think he's going to say he's gay.
Oh. Wait.
I think maybe he was like, he's asking her out and stuff as a cover because he's not out or whatever.
Weird. Okay, that could work.
Just because of his reaction, I wonder if that is the case. Plus, like all the stuff of them hanging out and he's just sitting around eating ice cream and stuff. He seems very much like maybe that's them saying he's friend zoned.
Yeah.
But it seems very much like he's her girlfriend.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that direction.
But I'll see what happens when the show actually begins.
I like all the cast. I just don't like the villain stuff. So if they figure out the villain stuff, then I'm on board. But I also didn't like the Flash pilot. So
and that changed.
So it could really go either way.
It's crazy how that became like the best season this season.
Right. And so yeah, that pretty much covers our thoughts on Supergirl.
Yeah.
But we did get an email question this week, didn't we?
We did. Let me go pull that up. It was from Farkan Hussein. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Hey dudes, I listened to your podcast and I'm waiting in anticipation for episode 12. That's this episode.
Oh shit, you're getting your wish. And you're getting answered on that episode.
Yeah, talk about awesome. Awesome. Remember, folks, email us. Anyways, I like the way you guys talk about the psychological impacts of characters in the different genres and scenarios. We do that?
I don't know. Maybe we do.
I think we probably, but we don't.
He's probably talking about something very specific, and we
Maybe.
know if he would clue us in on the conversation,
Yeah,
that I'm sure we can figure it
yeah.
out.
Because we talk a lot of shit,
We do.
a
But he
lot of
said,
stuff. I think you guys should talk about anime manga, and I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but you could talk about live action adaptations. Why do anime adaptations tend to suck? I want to see a big budget live action One Piece. But yeah, just an idea. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Farkan.
yeah, thanks for writing in. I guess
Yeah.
the one thing, because I don't know about the genres and scenarios part of it, we'll go right into the anime live action adaptation thing.
Yeah.
To me, I think it's a little bit of what's going on with superheroes right now.
Yes.
Superhero movies over here were looked at as kind of a joke.
Yep.
Until really kind of like Bryan Singer's X-Men and Blade.
Blade, I think Blade, yeah, definitely.
When they were finally like, oh yeah, we can do these as like a serious thing, and then people reacted to it. And I think because of technology getting better and more people taking them seriously, they've gotten better over time, and we're slowly realizing in things like Guardians of the Galaxy and such that we can finally capture ideas that seemed ridiculous outside of the comic book page or outside of the manga page, outside of the anime episode frame. That there's no way to do that in live action, or any attempts at it would look really, really dumb. But I think technology is finally getting to a place where we can, and I think that you'll see more anime live action adaptations that are better now that technology is getting better, especially because so much anime, because it's anime and they really explore that medium is really widely.
Yeah.
They go, let's do stuff that we know can't be done in live action because it's anime and we can do whatever we want.
But even with
especially
that, right?
Stuff like One Piece, all the crazy arm stretching. And stuff like
it'd
that.
be insane.
Look at what Fantastic Four looked like a few years ago.
That's true.
That looked like garbage, and that was like big budget Hollywood. So now I think that you're much more likely to see those types of things happen. Like, look at how different his stretchy limbs look in the new Fantastic Four versus the old one.
Very, very different. Very, very
now,
different.
if you give someone like Stephen Chow the budget of something like Fantastic Four, I think
he could have made an awesome Dragon Ball movie.
He could have, and he could make a sick One Piece movie.
I think it could have worked. Here's my thing about anime manga into live action adaptations, and he said in his email how they tend to suck. Which ones are he referring to? I wish he would have included some examples, because I can think of a few examples, and while some do, think about the 90s Fist of the North Star.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can say in quotes Hollywood, because it was American.
Right.
It was an American live action adaptation of a manga. It wasn't very good.
Right.
It wasn't very good at all. We've also got Guyver from that time. Now,
I liked the Guyver movies.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed them. They were very...
When I watched the Guyver movies, I wasn't aware it was an anime.
Okay. I
it was
knew
a really long time ago.
I knew it was an anime, and that's why I was like, my gosh, it's not like the anime, but it's still... those suits were the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, those suits were wicked.
So, there are those things. But then, in recent times, if... I'm not sure about Hollywood or, the Western countries doing adaptations of manga and anime, but Japan do it a lot. They actually do a lot.
They do it a lot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're great.
Rurouni Kenshin.
That's one.
They made 3 films of that, and those films are...
Aside from Rurouni Kenshin.
Okay. Parasite recently came out. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was
Well,
good.
you haven't seen it. I was like, which ones are great that you've seen?
Okay, I've seen... there's a bunch of, slice of life ones. They're okay, but then again, because manga and anime is not a genre, it's a medium, right?
Right.
Those genres are more like school.
Right, but have you seen very many, shonen type...
Yeah, no, they don't. They don't do that.
Live actions that are any good. The Dragon Ball Evolution, that was garbage. The Asian Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball movies that came out weren't very good either. Pretty much everything that's ever come out for Street Fighter, aside from those the web series ones, were
Which are
pretty
now
much
official.
garbage.
Which are
Yeah, which
official.
are official and they look
Ooh, ooh.
great, but
I've got.
that's the closest thing.
It's not Japanese, but Hong Kong cinema did do like Storm Riders. That's based on a Chinese comic.
Right, Storm Riders
They were great.
Storm Riders had
a man called
cool
Hero.
action.
A Man
I don't
Called
know if
Hero.
I've seen Man Called
Okay,
Hero,
that one's
but I've
also
definitely seen
very
Storm
cool.
Riders.
That Storm Rider sequel. Again, it's part of that series, but they got another one.
These feel like seldom examples.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like it's not as we're not getting them as commonly as we are at this point. Comic book adaptations.
I feel like it's akin to video game movies here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like video games might be a better example, like a closer example to manga anime adaptations in live action than, say, comics in movies.
But I think that we're finally, but much like manga and anime, I think that they'll eventually show up now that we see that they're possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now they're starting to put out more video game stuff.
Absolutely.
That seems like maybe these are the ones that are going to be good. They got Assassin's Creed coming out with Fassbender in it.
Yeah, right.
They got the Last of Us movie actually written by the people who did the Last of Us game, and they've got. They got one other, or Metal Gear Solid, or not Metal Gear Solid, excuse me, Splinter Cell with Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So they've got video game movies that are starting to pop up. World of Warcraft is supposed to.
That's the one. Yeah, people are saying that might be the first of the lot to hopefully change
the mentality.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like, oh, it's a game being turned into a movie. It's not important. I mean, people I know were saying that at the start of this whole comic book trend thing, where it's like, oh, it's just a comic book, whatever. But now it's like, hey, just because the source material is a comic book, that doesn't necessarily mean that this live action movie that you're going to watch is going to be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's a child's story. Mm-hmm. Like the games, oh, it's just a game, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't say that with like, oh, it's just a book adaptation. You know?
Right, yeah.
They don't say that.
They don't have that stigma.
Exactly. So, I mean, with the whole anime, manga, live-action adaptations, we're going to get the Attack on Titan ones soon.
Right.
And
now,
they look
with the Attack on
cool.
Titan, do you think those are going to be pretty well received? Do you think that they're looking to be pretty
I think they might be well received internationally, I think because like I mean internationally they do get like limited releases.
Right.
They're not like, it's not a Hollywood flick where they will get worldwide release.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the like based on the trailers and stuff, the quality seems to be fairly up there. I would say if anything, if they're anything as good as the Kenshin movies or one of Kenshin movies, then that's fucking A class to me then. Because
have you seen the Ace Attorney movie?
I have, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Because, but that's a game adaptation as well. That was one of the better game adaptations, I would say. Like thinking about all the video game adaptations that have been made into live action films, that might be my favorite one.
Really?
I can't think of anything else that is really popping out right now. I'm sure there are a few others, like the Street Fighter Origin, whatever was it like?
Assassin's Fist.
Assassin's Fist. That's good. That was a good one. It was one part of a story, but and it was very limited in characters.
I was just glad to get Ken and Ryu live action for the first time, really.
Again, though, like my complaint there was the whole Akuma later on looking like he did. It was
turning
weird.
it into a black guy.
Absolutely, it was a bit. It was weird. It was
to me. I go, yeah, it's weird, but if I got to sit through Black Guy Akuma to get everything else that he did in that,
absolutely,
then totally fine because it's the best we've ever gotten.
It is the best. It's not the best we'll ever get. I don't think.
Hopefully not. Hopefully
because
not.
If that's the
but
best
it's
we'll
still
ever
the
get,
best we've ever gotten.
Absolutely. Yeah. But in terms of the manga, anime becoming adapted into live action, I don't see Hollywood doing it. Like, I mean, we're gonna get the Ghost in the Shell.
I think that they will. I think Ghost in the Shell is again.
It might be the start, but I don't like. It's tricky though because if that doesn't do well, then Hollywood people might be like, that's a well we can't tap anymore.
It maybe not, but I think that the thing that they're doing that is the trump card, or not trump card, but the wild card that kind of mixes it all up, is that if they do uh, if they use Scarlett Johansson and it doesn't go well because of that.
Because I think you could make a dope Ghost in the Shell live action film. I
Right.
don't know if Scarlett Johansson is the one that's gonna make that good though.
Right. I think the idea of using Scarlett Johansson is just to sell tickets. It's not like she's the best option. It's
But
just the option that sells tickets.
I think that's a bad move.
I think it's potentially a bad move. I think it's potentially a bad move, and I think they would have been better off using a name of Asian actress. There's just
Yeah.
not a lot of options.
Yeah, again, like if the film is
But,
good, like
right,
if you say attach it to a good director, but the main actress was unknown, it would
right,
still get people in the seats, even for the director itself.
right. I like the way to do it. To me, in my opinion, how I would have done it if it was me, actually cast a Japanese actress to play the major, but cast a white dude to play Bato.
Oh, you'd have to cast
and
a
and
white
and
dude to play
cast
Bato.
and cast a name
Yes,
that's how you do it. Instead of
yes,
worrying about the name of the major, cast Bato as somebody that you're trying to pull somebody in with, like
exactly. Oh,
not
it's like, ooh,
necessarily
that
Tom
guy's in
Hardy,
it.
but
It's like, ooh,
some,
that guy's in it.
yeah, exactly, some name, and then you go, that's what it is. It's
Hmm.
him and this chick and their team played as a team.
Yep, it's a duo
But
because technically it is a team when you
right,
watch it. If you know the story,
it's a team flick, but I
it is
mean,
a team.
played
Yeah,
as
yeah,
like they're the team
absolutely,
name.
absolutely. And you know, it could do well. I mean, like if James Cameron actually went and did Battle Angel Alita, that would have changed things. I honestly think that would have changed things. It would have opened it up more for anime manga adaptations.
This is gonna get me a lot of crap,
Go, speak your mind, man.
but if they have to cast a white person,
Okay.
I think Gina Carano would have been a cool choice instead of Scarlett Johansson,
For
the major.
Major?
Just because if it has to be a white person, get someone who is physically capable,
Don't you
because she
think she's a
doesn't
little
have,
big?
maybe, but they can. I mean, they can always slim her
Yeah,
down if
that
they
and plus
needed to,
also
whatever.
they
I
can
don't think
change
it's that
like they can
important that
change. Yeah,
she's
that's
super slim, as
that's
long as
true.
she's effective in combat and can portray that character very well.
Because she's very stoic.
Right. And I think she could do that. That's in her wheelhouse. She's
you thought
basically
you
that
think you're gonna
already
get
in
backlash
Haywire.
by that? You think you're gonna
Right.
get?
Because just because she's still she can't act or whatever, and she's still white, so it sucks. And
But honestly, if it was out of those two, I would take Carano probably.
right, I just think that if she's just got to be mostly
Badass?
stoic and badass, then
Yeah.
sure, pick her
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, though, I like the whole cast an Asian-ish or half Asian, whatever. Just
Right.
an unknown-ish, Asian unknown, and then Bato would be the recognizable face.
If they had
'Cause if you
cast
see him
Olivia
in the
Munn,
trailer-
would she be Asian enough for you?
Who?
Olivia Munn?
I don't see her as a major though.
I don't see her as Psylocke. I'm just saying, does she count as Asian enough to satiate people?
I mean, if it wasn't her, but it's that kind of Asian, sure.
Because I feel like people don't like it that she's playing Psylocke because she
'Cause she
doesn't
ain't
seem
Japanese?
Asian enough. Right.
I don't know, whatever, dude. But yeah, like I don't really like Olivia Munn. I think that's it.
I don't really have an opinion on Olivia.
I don't
Munn.
like. I don't.
She
I'm
just
not-
doesn't look like Psylocke to me.
Oh yeah, she does, but she doesn't look like the major either, though.
She
But then
really
again,
doesn't.
Scarlett Johansson doesn't.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of that, I don't know. Maybe like live action adaptations of manga and anime. It could be done in Hollywood. I think it's probably they have a good chance. It's just whoever's involved with it. That's what matters. It's really what
Right.
matters. Like, are you gonna get the original creators involved in it, or are you gonna do a whole Dragon Ball thing?
Probably. I mean, specifically with Ghost in the Shell, I have no idea what they're doing. But in general, I think it's important to try and to get them involved.
I mean,
I-
yeah,
Like
Go.
with Akira and all the stuff they were saying they were going to do with Akira, like I would hope that they tried to make it as close to the book as possible.
see with
Or
that, do you
even
mind
the
if they're not Asian?
I don't know. I just feel like because I don't know if it's something like Dragon Ball where everybody's name is silly, then
Yep.
it doesn't matter to me. But in Akira where everybody's name is a Japanese name,
Yep.
it's weird to me to make them white people.
Tetsuo, a white Tetsuo, a
Right,
white
that's weird.
Kaneda. Yeah, it's just you have to change it. Like Tetsuo would be what? Terry or some
Right,
shit.
because everybody's name is Terry.
Exactly. Ah, back to that. Nice. Throw back to a non-recorded thing. But yeah, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just like they were talking about doing Akira with Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's old.
Right, but he was trying to produce it and make it happen and
He
stuff.
could produce it. I don't care if they're involved behind the scenes, but like
Zac
Kaneda's like
Efron was gonna be Kaneda for a while.
I'm fine with that.
You're
I don't
fine with Zac Efron Kaneda?
I don't care. Like it doesn't. If they capture
Justin Bieber Tetsuo?
he can't act though.
You don't know.
As Tetsuo, as like a crazy
You don't
whatever.
know.
You know, here's the thing, Royce. Here's the thing. Capture the tone of it,
Right.
and don't stray too far from the plot and story, and you're fine. Like even if they had to change the whole, it's not Tokyo anymore, and it's like whatever. What was their plan? New York or some shit.
Right.
Do it. Keep the freaking tone though. Keep the tone. If you
I don't know, man.
if you
If
move
you
from the say,
cast it wrong,
I'm not
the
that.
tone won't save it.
I think you have to keep the tone. Oh yeah, casting definitely matters. I'm not saying cast whoever. Cast
Right.
appropriately for the characters.
They're like Tetsuo's Rebel Wilson.
That is the worst garbage. What the fuck, Royce? Seriously. If you were a casting agent, you would be fired.
You don't think you would go for that one, man?
Absolutely no. You would be out of your you'd be out of your mind. What the hell? Rebel Wilson. Ah,
I'd watch it. Um,
that's awful. That is awful.
that's fucking hilarious.
You need to draw that.
No, definitely not. You need to draw
But
that.
I ain't drawing that shit.
It'd be like your Powerpuff Goyles or whatever.
I'll just draw one of them.
Yeah.
Put him in the jacket. No.
So yeah, I think it's coming down the line, but I don't know how quick it'll be to transition over here. I think you're starting to get like the Attack on Titan. You'll see how well that does, and see how they handle some of the action in that because Attack on Titan's supposed to have pretty intense action,
That's right.
especially with like the hip rocket Spider-Man machines.
Yeah, they still haven't shown much of that in the
they haven't
trailers.
shown
Yeah,
any of that action. So if that's depending on how that goes, I think it'll be a pretty good indicator of how other people starting to do these live action adaptations.
it's true.
They're starting to do them online more often, like the Dragon Ball web series and all that. So I think if random people can do the effects and they're on their home computers, you'll start to see people getting more brave to do them on TV.
That's the thing about those like web online thing. I think the reason why they'll stick closer to the source material or they'll be more true to it is because they're fans that are making it. It's not for the money.
And because it costs them nothing to take the risk to
That's
do
true,
it.
but it's like and that's what people don't understand.
Right.
And the people like outside where it's like, "Oh, why can't they make a better adaptation? Why can't they stay true?" It's like, "Listen, your money is not on the line.
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is and actually go produce one of these films then. You'll understand that some things are just it is a risk. You can't risk like a multi-million-dollar picture.
Yeah, especially when, the content is really bizarre. It's not always
Absolutely.
easy to sell that
That's
to
exactly why.
investors.
Yeah. So they do what they can. I mean, sometimes they'll fail. You'll get like results like The Last Airbender.
Right.
You know.
Remember that City Hunter anime movie /
The City
live
Hunter
action?
movie? Yeah.
Yeah, with Jackie Chan.
Yeah. That was a Hong Kong cinema film.
Yeah, and that one they have a pretty sweet Street Fighter scene.
If you can say sweet, sure.
Yeah, with Jackie Chan dressed up like Chun-Li.
Yep. That's the thing that happened. He dressed
I
up
think
as
he
that.
also dresses up as E Honda.
He dressed up as a couple, I think.
Yeah, and there's like a weird, stretchy Dhalsim, and there's a tiny little skinny Asian dude, Guile. which is pretty amazing.
That was the best one, I think.
His hair is pretty fantastic
How did we get to this?
because it's an adaptation of
Oh, that's right. It's a live-action video game adaptation. Correct.
or anime adaptation.
Oh yeah, because it's City Hunter. That's right.
Yeah.
That's been like in Japan, you'll get a lot of manga adaptations as TV shows.
Didn't they do Crying Freeman?
Oh, yes, that's right. Live action, 95 or 94? Crying
Right.
Freeman? Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
I haven't
Oddly
seen-
enough, that was actually pretty good. But again, it's not one of those anime mangas where it would require like a decent budget to pull off some wicked effects.
What is one that you would like to see done now?
Oh, a good Dragon Ball.
You'd rather see Dragon Ball than like a big budget live action Kill la Kill?
Nah, Kill la Kill's ridiculous.
All
That one needs to
all
stick.
the vagina
Nah,
shots.
that one needs to stick as anime.
You
Like,
think so?
yeah, people have a hard time looking at the 3D models of them, like statues of them.
Right. Well, they changed the costume. I'm sure if they did it live action.
Yeah, I'd say like just a really good Dragon Ball one.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy, but seeing a JoJo's Bizarre one would be insane.
Yeah.
Because that essentially is a superhero type. It's super powered.
Mm-hmm.
And their powers aren't even super crazy either. So, I think that one is actually doable. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, I think for me, the one I always wanted to see was Ghost in the Shell. So if that finally happens at some point, I'll kind of get that. But I'd really like to see one that is a bit closer of an adaptation to the original anime movie.
Yeah, if that anime movie was... Yeah, that was... Like, I would love to see, like, Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist would be cool.
I think that'd be insane. Like, think about all the effects.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I think just
wicked.
because of, like I really like the kind of action that is in Ghost in the Shell, the kind of like
yes.
flipping around inhumanly with pistols and
Yep.
robot pieces and shit. Like I really like that kind of action. So I really like the idea of that movie.
What do you think could work? Like, would look good in a live action? What other anime manga?
I think the biggest problem for Dragon Ball in live action is the hairstyles.
Yeah, I think
because those will always look dumb.
Yeah.
Interpreted into real hair.
Yes, it's too over the top. They would have to ground it, and if they ground it in reality, it's just not as, excessive.
It's not the same. Now,
Absolutely.
if everything else is, what I think would be best for Dragon Ball, honestly,
What?
doing it like Advent Children.
Oh yeah.
So do it so they look realistic, but you can still have the over the top hair and the crazy destruction porn, but make them look like humans and look like more realistically rendered. But I think that would be sick for Dragon Ball.
But thinking about stuff like that, like if we, bringing that up where they would look ridiculous, maybe
Right.
Dragon Ball's not the one to be made into a live action. Like, I'd love to see Space Adventure Cobra. I know they talked about that a couple years ago, where a
Yeah.
French director wanted to do it, and I know that thing is massive in Europe.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I'd be pretty wrapped because that's awesome. That would be like a slightly more adult, like Guardians type film.
Right. I'm trying to
It's
think
like
of
a
other
space
like
opera.
anime that I was way into that I'd like to see done.
What about a proper Fist of the North Star?
I just never really cared about that.
What about Trigun?
Never seen it.
What have you seen then?
I've seen lots, just
What
You've
have you
seen
seen?
a whole
I've
lot.
seen a lot. I've seen a lot. But like, what have you seen that you can think that would be great as a live action?
I'm trying to think, man. I think I'd be interested in seeing Cowboy Bebop done in live action because I think it's
that's
one
possible.
of the easier ones to do.
Oh, they recently made a Lupin movie in Japan. Lupin the Third.
Yeah,
It was okay. It was actually a pretty good movie.
that's just another one that I was never into, so I wouldn't even know how to judge it.
I liked it. But again, it was like real world based, so it's not like, oh, that guy's got superpowers, he's punching through a wall.
Right. I think I've never read it, but with technology being what it is, One Punch Man would be very cool.
That would be wicked.
I think it's the kind of thing that you could do over here,
Yeah.
and people would still like it because it would seem like a parody. I think you could do it.
Because it's like a parody.
Now, don't get mad.
What?
I think you could do it very much in a similar fashion to Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
That's cool.
where it seems jokey, but the action is very intense.
Yeah. I think I think the action would have to be more intense than it was in Scott Pilgrim.
Now, what if they cast somebody like a because it's if it's an American adaptation, it's probably going to be a white person. But who would you pick to play that character?
Oh, that's tough. I need to think about this.
Because I could imagine them putting in like a Michael Cera or like a Jesse Eisenberg that looks like Lex Luthor now. His Lex Luthor is One Punch Man.
That's tricky because it's about his facial expressions. Michael Cera's face is too beak-like.
Right.
It's not round.
Right.
It's not round at all.
He's just gotta have a dull face.
But he has he's got a massive beak though.
He does.
Because he's got no jaw, and it kind of just goes in. So I don't know if Michael Cera would like the character type. Honestly, they can cast an unknown, and it might be better.
Right, but
like have Genos be like the pretty boy guy, Cyborg.
Right. I just imagine that if they were going to make it here, they would definitely pick some funny man type of character because he could just sit there looking dumb.
That would be weird. But yeah, like I can't think of a current comedian that pops into
You know who I think does the face the best, but doesn't have the right face, if that makes sense? He does the expression the best, but doesn't have the right face, is Andy Samberg.
That would be hilarious.
He does that like lazy-eyed stare so well.
Do you know what, dude? I'd be okay with that. Now that you brought it up, I would actually be okay with that. Because in my head, that's hilarious. Can you imagine him just doing like whatever punches? No, in my mind, it's amazing. Just make it a Lonely Island movie.
Right, right.
Like as in the Lonely Island team making it, like one of them directing it.
That'd probably be good.
They'd write it.
Right, like action team.
Yeah. Oh fuck. That would be hilarious. Because like in my head, the visuals,
right,
are what makes it right.
Yeah.
The expressions, the humor is there, but the action is like some of the best we'll ever see.
Right. They need to get like Zack Snyder's team to do the action.
Fuck. Absolutely. Dude. I can see Sandberg now doing it.
Right.
Like, it's him, like, holding the groceries.
Right.
Him going for, like, the sales.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Like, he has a beak. He's got a big nose as well.
He does.
But his
he
face
just could nail that expression.
I think that's why, because I can't really see the dull expression that Saitama does with, like, Michael Cera, for example.
Right.
He'll just look like it doesn't work.
Like Michael Cera.
He'll just look like Michael Cera.
Yeah, I think that was the thing about Scott Pilgrim that took me out of it, was like he played the character really well.
Like young Neil.
Right, he should have been Scott.
He makes a better Scott Pilgrim.
He should have been Scott fully.
When I saw him, I was like, why the fuck isn't that guy Scott Pilgrim?
Right.
Because he's not a known actor, right?
Right.
Because that's how I imagine Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I'm like, you got the guy who I thought would be Scott Pilgrim in it, but as young Neil, who is supposed to look like a Scott Pilgrim.
Right, he's supposed to look just like Scott.
Yeah.
He doesn't look anything like Michael Cera, but he does look like how I imagine Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, which is like bizarre. Like if he was Scott Pilgrim, the film would have been just as good. It may be better, I don't know, but just as good. Because he got the humor as well, so clearly he knows what he's doing.
So fucking good.
He
punched the highlights out
of her hair. It was great. I would copy the same lines.
Right.
Everything. He got it. Anyways, yeah. Good stuff.
So, I think the adaptations are around the corner. It's just a matter of time.
It's definitely a matter of time.
But yep, I think that covers everything that we were going to talk about on this episode.
Yep.
That pretty much wraps episode 12.
Rapisodes 12s.
That's a rapisode on 12.
That's a rapisode. That's gonna be what? Is that how we're gonna end everything now? Rapisode.
Yep.
We're gonna rapisode. It's a rapisode. That's actually pretty good.
We're gonna do a rap episode, and it'll be a rap.
Oh, that would be hard. You know how much writing would be involved in that?
Oh man!
But if we rap like a lot of modern rappers.
Yeah.
If we rap like a lot of modern rappers,
right,
we could write anything.
Right.
Because modern.
We'll rap like that dude on the Bauer track.
Don't. He's garbage. I know that first line was great. People don't know what we're talking about, but that's fine.
That's Papa Sense Bean.
Papa Sense Bean.
That's Papa Sense Bean.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Catch us next episode, which might be soon.
Yeah. We might double dip since we missed a couple.
Yeah. So thanks for joining. Sorry for the wait. Hopefully you enjoyed this.
Stay chipper chaps.